Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me tonight, taking time out of your day, wherever it may be that you are. I see that we have some people from here in the Philippines, also from Mexico, Sri Lanka, India, Vietnam, Thailand. Thank you guys so much for joining on this very important conversation. It means a lot to me and also to the community. Well, hi everyone. My name is Catriona. Welcome to Universe United. This is a series of conversations where we're bringing together the community from all around the world. And of course, we are here to honor our beloved friend and sister, Cheslie Kryst, to celebrate her life, remember who she is, what she loved, and what she stood up for. Um, it feels so surreal having this conversation. I first met Chess in 2019. I was there when she won the Miss USA crown. I put the sash over her head and I interviewed her for her first ever interview when she bagged the crown. And she is as true to what everyone describes her to be, a ball of light. And it really kickstarted our friendship and our sisterhood. There's not many people who can really relate to the sensation that is becoming a title holder, because when you talk about the experience of practically instantaneously being projected into the public eye, it's not an experience that a lot of people can relate to. But Chess became one of those main people for me. She understood it because she herself had gone through it. She was incredibly driven and funny. She would always be going on about finding the best sweet shops or the best bakeries around New York. So, there's a lot of different environments where friendships are cultivated. But Chess was not only a friend to me, she was a sister, she was a housemate. She was there for the new experiences of discovering New York and being a title holder and everything that came along with it. It was a very unique season for the both of us. If I'm honest, a lot of the time it felt like we were two ships passing in the night, because with both of our obligations, Chess was always flying around the US for her duties as Miss USA, and I was always flying in and out as my duties as Miss Universe. And for those times that she was there and we were together, she was that constant that just really made it feel like I had a home in New York. We were very, very similar in many ways. On the outside, when it came to our work, being with people, we were bubbly, had the loudest laughs. But when we were at home together, we were quiet, we were reserved, we were talking with our families. I saw a lot of myself in Chess, a lot in her service. She wanted to utilize this platform, that she wanted to have a voice. And to be honest, I am in such disbelief in talking about Chess in past tense, because I just never saw it coming. I don't think many people did. But tonight we're here because her legacy lives on. And I'm so grateful to the Miss Universe organization for creating this space for us to have conversations surrounding mental health, mental illness, and also just to celebrate the life and the impact that Chess had on all of us. Before I introduce a cause that is incredibly close to Cheslie's heart, or was incredibly close to Cheslie's heart, I just have a few things that I myself would like to talk about, to take up this space, to have a conversation with you guys. And in it being a conversation, I want you to take part too. So just head down to the comment section. If you have any thoughts about what I'm saying, any additions, or any experiences that you want to share, this is a safe space. I want to encourage you to all take part in. This is a community that we have here online that is meant to be welcoming. It's meant to be positive. It's meant to be safe. The loss of Chess's life took so many by surprise, because she just never really showed that she was struggling. And it really made me think, why is it that it took us all by surprise, and that we really perceived her success, her intelligence, her accolades, her talents, and we kind of justified to ourselves that how could someone possibly be struggling when they had all of these things. One, I think it unfortunately plays into the perspective that people think once I get 1 million followers, once I get the dream career, the dream house, once I have people who love me, I'm surrounded 24/7, once I'm a certain body size, or once, all of these different things, then I'll finally be happy. I'll finally be fulfilled. That in itself, I don't feel to be true. Even the most successful people struggle, have insecurities, have their own challenges. And it just made me really reflect on, and it's a point that I want to emphasize here tonight, is that depression doesn't look the same on everyone. And I read some comments from the last couple of weeks, and it just really resonates and echoes the unfortunate, it really is unfortunate reality that so many people still perceive depression, anxiety, mental illness to look a certain way. And surely it couldn't be someone who is successful, brilliant, and beautiful. Surely it couldn't be someone like Chess. But the truth is, mental illness has the ability to impact every single one of us. Statistically, 1 out of 5 people will be impacted by a mental illness. And so it becomes absolutely essential, like not even to be talked about in the aftermath of losing a loved one, or not even in the niche conversations. It's absolutely essential for you as a human being, for us as people, to intentionally, meaning we intentionally take the time, we put in the effort, we seek out resources that we have access to learn the language around and about mental health, or about mental illness, and learn how to then also label and communicate our feelings and our emotions. And even aside from that self-awareness, we should educate ourselves on how we can then reach out to others, to check on each other, to use the proper words that shows that we're there for someone, because it does take a certain perspective. You need to be compassionate and understanding, and sometimes we need to learn how to properly do that. So that takes me to the next thing that I want to raise up here tonight is, please be kind. It's a very simplistic thing that is always being thrown around, but honestly, I think Chess's passing really just reiterates the fact that no matter who you are, you're going through something. Every single person, sorry, my dog. Every single person, no matter their career path, their success, what they're going through, how they may look on the outside, no big their smile is, no matter how joyous their energy is facing something, is facing a mountain of their own, is fighting their own inner demons. So please be kind with how you talk to people, with how you treat people. Please try to be understanding. It sometimes takes a lot of extra grace on your part, but you just never know what that person is going through. I think, in a time like this, we've all been so isolated, and it's definitely due to the pandemic. So many different factors have made us be physically and emotionally isolated. And when you're isolated is when you feel most alone. So please continue reaching out. Even if the first, second, third attempt goes unanswered, please continue being persistent with that loved one, with that friend, with that person that you know is maybe alone or going through something. Please be persistent. And the next thing that I kind of want to go into, just to go really quickly, because we do have a special guest that I want to introduce to you all, but I felt it was really important to talk on this, is within the world of pageantry. Now, I know if you're watching this, you've probably come from the Miss Universe social media pages, or maybe my audience. And the way and the reason that I came to know and have a relationship with Chess was through the pageant platform of Miss Universe. I really wanted to talk about how in pageantry we need to work to make it a positive and safe space, because Unfortunately, in the modern age, pageantry has really evolved. Most of our platforms are now elevated to exist almost solely, if not for the most part, on social media. And it's great. It allows me as a representative and how many more other representatives, hundreds every year, who represent their communities and their countries, to reach into an audience, to have an impact, to have their voices heard. But it also gives millions of people access to an individual. And unfortunately, there are two different sides of pageantry. There's either the really positive side, the supportive side. I feel empowered, I feel confident, I feel like I have a voice, I have a platform. And then there's the other side where I feel pressured. I feel I've been the subject of bullying, shaming. I've been pulled down. And I just think it's a really sad thing that it's so polarizing in that way. So there will always be naysayers and trolls online, and that is just a reality that we have to come to accept within the online platform that is pageantry. But I just want to touch on these three things. One, if you're a fan of pageantry, if you really subscribe to the platform of pageantry, if you're passionate about supporting your representative, please know the difference in the boundary between feedback and outright bashing, derogatory terms, harsh critique, just unkind things are better left unsaid. And as someone who has experienced it personally, it may feel like, oh, you're able to just say this, freedom of speech and everything, but it really does make an impact, especially when those comments come in the handfuls, in the tens and the hundreds. So please just be mindful of that. Second, to organizational bodies and even pageant communities that exist online, please take a stand. Do not tolerate that type of commentary on your platforms. There are certain tools that you could utilize, filtering words, having social media managers that really go through and just filter out the really below the belt, the really terrible comments, or just making a stand that that is not tolerated within the community that is pageantry. And third, to my fellow representatives or future delegates, if you ever witness that there is a supporter of yours, a fan of yours, a fan page of yours, actively taking part in putting down another representative, another country's delegate, or just putting out negativity online, I encourage you to privately message them. Take the time to just say, hey, I really appreciate that you're supporting me, but please, I hope that you would not use this platform to put down another contestant. Please just lift each other up. I've personally done that, and the fan pages have really responded very well because they idolize you. And so if you set that standard, if you say that shouldn't be tolerated, they will most likely follow you, and you really have to lead by example. And I know that pageantry, being online, again, it's never going to be rid of 100% of negativity, but we can all do our part to really not tolerate it. So it's a huge difference between just saying, oh yeah, it'll always be there, and then one for being, hey, no, that's not tolerated. It shouldn't be here. And we shouldn't have stories of young girls going through the system of pageantry, one that could potentially be so celebrated and so uplifting, empowering, and not having them have an experience where they're incredibly pressured and put down. My last point, I know I've talked longer than I'm supposed to, but I really want to just say this to anyone who's watching. Please check in with yourself. I know so many of you feel a weight of responsibility that may come from your position in your workplace. You could be a leader of a team. You could be a provider of your family, a pillar of your community. But as much as serving others is such a noble calling, please do not continue pouring out of your cup when you are not refilling your cup. In other words, please do not put your own health and wellness to the side. Don't neglect it. And I understand that's difficult. I myself am a giver. I'm someone who really relates to being of service to another. I really find fulfillment in giving to others. And there are many times that I have and continue to put others' needs before my own. But you can't continue to pour out of a cup that's empty. So please look after yourselves, check in with yourselves, give yourselves grace, It's not selfish. It's necessary for you to continue to give and give even more, but to make sure that you yourself are filled, that you yourself are taken care of. Okay, so those are just some thoughts that I wanted to interject into our conversation tonight. Again, this is a conversation, so please, the comments down below, please do share your thoughts, anything that you may be feeling. Even if you wanted to encourage someone tonight who may be watching, again, this is a safe space, this is a positive space. So just continue writing your comments down below. There will also be a Q&A towards the end of our talk. But of course, tonight, I'm moving on to our next segment, which is really just putting an emphasis on Cheslie's legacy and doing so and really carrying on the work that she was so passionate about and really pouring in her heart, her time, and her effort to really support these causes and also to encourage others to do the same. And it is my pleasure to talk about a cause that I really came to know through Cheslie. She was so passionate about it. She talked about it in her first interview after winning the crown, and ever more so throughout her reign and even after her reign. It's Dress for Success. It is a global nonprofit organization that empowers women to achieve economic independence by providing a network of support, professional attire, and the development tools to help women thrive in work and in life. Cheslie herself was a volunteer for Dress for Success in her native Charlotte. And upon winning her title of Miss USA in 2019, she continued to be an ambassador for the global organization. And then she even continued to support even after her reign. And tonight I'm joined by a very important person within this organization. And please join me in giving a very warm welcome to Miss Michele C. Meyer-Shipp, the CEO of Dress for Success. Good evening or good morning, Michele. Thank you so much for taking the time. How are you?
I'm great. Really happy to be here, Kat. And thank you for everything you just said. It really struck a chord with me. And I really appreciate you for hosting me today and for having this really great, candid conversation.
Thank you so much. It is such a pleasure to be able to be introduced even more so, or for those that are watching that may already be familiar with Dress for Success because of Cheslie, to even learn more about the organization. And I know I mentioned that Ches started as a volunteer and then she continued to be an ambassadress through her reign and beyond. So can you tell me a little bit about how did Cheslie really embody the ambassador role of Dress for Success?
You know, it's really interesting that you asked that question because in my short time at the organization, I've come to be touched by the legacy she's left through the women she served. So as you mentioned, Kat, you know, she started out as a volunteer in the Charlotte affiliate, and through that work got introduced to the organization. She was able to touch, meet, and engage with our clients, the women that we serve, in a very authentic and real way. As a role model, as a sponsor, as a mentor. And then when she did receive the title of Miss USA, she was able to do that across the US, across our 140 plus affiliates. And it was really showing up and supporting not only our galas, not only serving as a spokesperson for our key events, but she also, through her tour, visited our many affiliates, met with and spoke with the women, and provided that level of support and kind of wrapping your arms around women that we do best at Dress for Success. She really did embody all of our values and all that we stand for. You know, when women come to Dress for Success, they come to us for support. They come to us for that safe space that you described, where we give each other grace. And Cheslie embodied all of that as an ambassador for us and as a real, you know, she showed up as a real authentic person that women could relate to and look up to. So we're just honored that she was so connected to our organization, and her legacy will live on through our organization, I am sure.
Yeah, I have no doubt about it. And what you've said is really just a testimony. That is really who Ches was. She was so just unapologetically herself. No matter who you were, she would always take the time for you. She would always give you her time, her effort, her love. And you could just see the passion that just radiated from her whenever she talked about her work with this organization. I know that she was flying in and out with you guys. She would tell me all about her trips. But Michele, could you elaborate on the services that Dress for Success provides
Yes.
for women and actually helps them help support them even with the aspect of their mental health?
Absolutely, happy to. So the organization is really robust in that it aims to support women in their personal and professional lives. So the goal is to help give them the resources, the tools, and the support that they need to thrive in both, right? So through a series of programming that we offer, we support women with the support that they need around getting gainful employment, securing financial stability, and navigating their own mental health and well-being, which you alluded to earlier in the talk today. So a myriad of programs are offered for women. When they step through our doors, no matter what affiliate they show up at, they're greeted by our staff and volunteers who are there to really sit with them and ask them what do they need. So it's not a cookie cutter, you come in
Yeah.
and you get A, B, and C. It's you come to us and you tell us what it is that you need. You may need help with support for a job search. You may need help with support for a mentor or someone to talk to about a challenge you're dealing with. You may need help navigating some financial issues and you may need some coaching around that. So through our staff and our volunteers, you actually have people who are able to help you navigate through all of those things. And specifically with respect to mental health and well-being, we actually have offered over the years a host of programming, conversation
Amazing.
circles and things of that nature around mental health and well-being. Because I think you actually said it best, Kat. If we're not good to ourselves, we can't be good to anyone else, right? We can't be any
Yeah.
good for anyone else. So we can't have that great job and that successful career. We can't take care of our families and our loved ones unless we are good within. So through the work and the programs that we offer, we can support women through that, talk to them, listen to them, refer them to resources that they need. So I encourage any woman who's struggling in any of these avenues to please connect with us so that we can be a resource for you.
Yes, I love that so much. Michele, for those that may be watching that do want to become connected with you, can you please share your website, your social media handles so that we can
Yes.
get in touch if anyone else wants to reach out?
Yes, absolutely. So you're looking for Dress for Success Worldwide, and the website is really simple. It's dressforsuccess.org. And if you Google Dress for Success Worldwide, you'll come across our worldwide website, but you'll also probably come across a host of our affiliates around the world. That's the amazing thing about this network. I mean, we are connected in over 20 countries with over 140 affiliates globally. So no matter where you are listening today, tonight, this morning, this afternoon, there is an organization through Dress for Success that you can come affiliated with that can support you. And we also have an online network that you can be connected to. And it's funny, I actually wrote it down because I wanted to share it with you. You can
Amazing.
actually just type into your browser community.dressforsuccess.org. I'll say that again. It's community.dressforsuccess.org. So you can be connected to our online community, which offers, workshops, webinars of that type, mental health, etc. So please feel free to join us anytime.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Michele. And I think that really touches on such an integral aspect, which is community, and having that support. And you can really see from the holistic approach to how you really help women in need, that community is such an important thing that you facilitate. And it's great that you also have the online platforms and everything. I would love to ask you if you could share, for our viewers who are watching, is there a message, maybe if they're feeling discouraged still, maybe they're just a little bit hesitant to reach out to a Dress for Success center near them or to another resource around them? Do you have a piece of encouragement for them?
Yeah, I would just say this. It takes a village. We're all in this together. And Kat, you said it so well earlier. We all struggle. No, everyone has
Yeah.
a struggle. So know that you're not alone. Even those of
Yeah.
us who seem to have it all together suffer at times from anxiety, from stress, from worry. So you are not alone. It takes a village. Reach out. We're here to support you and to support one another.
So well said and so, so true. Thank you so much, Michelle. I think at this point, we're going to invite some questions from our viewers to submit, and perhaps you or I could answer them. But I really see through how you've really described Dress for Success, its mission, the way that it carries it out, why Chess was so passionate about this cause and about your organization. And I just want to take this time to just really thank all of your staff, the team, the infrastructure behind you for the work that you do for the community. Thank you for giving that support to all those women in need and the work that you continue to do.
Thank you, Kat. Thanks for the partnership. We're really excited and happy to have this conversation with you. And again, please reach out. We're here to support you.
Thank you. I so appreciate that, Michelle. And while we're waiting for some questions here, I have one right here. What do you believe is important for anyone to be aware of if they know someone is struggling with this mental health issue? Oh, and Misha, our behind the scenes, has brought it up perfectly on the screen. Michelle, do you have anything that you'd like to touch on this question at all?
Yes, that's a great question, Jordan. Thanks for asking. I think it's really important that you listen. And you listen to hear, not necessarily listen to solve the problem, not listen to tell the person what the solution is, but to really listen. And sometimes someone just wants to get it out. So, wrap your arms around the person, listen to the person. And if you're really hearing that the person is in distress, you have to try to refer the person or let them know about resources they can reach out to for help. So for example, the suicide prevention hotline, right? You want to, if you really find that someone's in dire distress, refer them. But at the core, you want to be a listening ear. It starts there. Too many times we listen and try to solve. We don't listen just to hear. And that's critical.
So, so true. And sometimes the most important thing you can do is just to be there for someone. Just be there for something. And once you have that communication there, it's always okay to ask, what language can I use to help you here? If someone battles with anxiety or panic attacks or has certain triggers, it does take a communication to get to know and learn those triggers for that certain person so that you can be that support for them. Because not everyone faces the same struggles or the same mental health issues. It is all very unique to the person. So just take that time, that intentional effort, and it'll really be appreciated by that person, I'm sure. Thank you so much, Jordan, for that question. Do we have another question that we have from our viewers? I can see our little chat box is really moving fast. Thank you guys for submitting all of your comments. And everyone who's tuned with us tonight. We have over 800 people with us. Let's see. Someone is asking, Kat, what's your fondest or most memorable memory with chess? Oh, and we have another comment asking the same thing. Thank you, Japat. My gosh, it's so many, but I think it would have to be our trip to Brazil. It was a very special memory because we even went with Miss Teen Kaylee, and it was her first ever trip out of the country. So me and Chess were like big sisters on that trip. We went to Brazil for an outreach for Smile Train, and Chess just comes alive when she's in service of others. And I'm sure, Michelle, you've witnessed that also. She really, really does. When she's given a microphone or the opportunity to speak to a fellow human being, she comes alive with her passion and her willingness to let other people feel heard. That's why she's such a great advocate for even social justice as an attorney, not only as a title holder, and even all the other organizations that she really worked hand in hand with. But Brazil was really just such a special memory because it showed me the side of Chess that was her as a sister, for Kaylee. And it was the fun and it was the quirkiness, but it was also the compassion for the children that we met there. And that's a very fun memory for me. Thank you, Japat, for that question. Do we have any other questions from our audience? Kat, there are times that I wake up feeling down. What do you do when this happens to you? Michelle, do you have any insight for our Kat? _na_gray.
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I mean, I think it happens, right? And you have to own it and just give yourself a moment to be there. And I like to think about, why am I feeling this way? Has something
Mm,
happened to trigger me? And then
mm,
really think through what that is. But once I'm able to sit with that for a moment, I try to really focus on what I call managing my mindset. So I
mm,
try to think positively about whatever the situation may be. I try to appreciate and have gratitude for, things that are going on that are good, as opposed to focusing on the thing that may
so
have me
true.
down, and really kind of, again, own it, acknowledge it, sit with it for a moment, but then really focus on, okay, how do I move forward? And what is the good? And what do I want to be grateful for? And move from there. Because if you get stuck in it, that's when you find yourself stuck in a space of depression, and it's really hard to get
Mm,
out of it. And that's where talking to someone can help. Because if you
yeah.
can't get out of that feeling down, someone else might be able to support you through that journey so that you can come up and out of it, and move forward into something in a more positive light.
Yeah, I agree with everything that you've said. And also to bounce off that, Michelle, um, we should normalize seeking medical help
Yes.
in that a form of a therapist or a psychiatrist. It sometimes, and I understand there's many of us that may not feel safe or comfortable reaching out to someone so near to us, or maybe we just don't feel able to. Normalizing therapy and reaching out to a medical profession needs to happen, and it's completely encouraged. I encourage it, to seek therapy, to seek the help that you need, to get that resource and to get that help.
Kat, it's funny you said that, because I think about it this way. I think about, we see a physician to help
Mm,
manage our physical health, right? I think
yes,
it's totally, totally acceptable and appropriate to see a mental professional, right? To
yes.
help us manage our emotional health and well-being. I am proud to say that I have both types of medical care in my life to help me
Mm,
manage my physical and my mental health and well-being. It's critical. We all need someone to talk to.
yes. Very, very well said. And I completely agree. Thank you so much, Michelle. And thank you for our viewer who added that question. Thank you so much. Do we have another question from our audience? We have from Hina M. How to cope up with stress that we get when we fail in our own expectations. Hina, you are not alone in this. I myself struggle with the high standards that I set for myself as a fellow perfectionist, or just maybe someone that holds yourself to high standard. It's always great to set goals for yourself. We always want to aim high. We want to achieve. We want to do well. But failure, unfortunately, is inevitable. But instead of seeing failure as something that is a pit that you feel that you're going to stay in, see failure as evidence that you're trying. And know that within failure, there's always something to be learned. There's something to be gained, whether it's experience or knowledge of things to do again or things to try maybe differently. And always ask for help. If there's a pursuit, perhaps career wise, personal wise, ambitious wise, that you want to try again after failing, reach out, improve on yourself. There are so many free and amazing resources online, groups in your community. That you can really reach out to. But if it's also a question of your own self-confidence, give yourself grace. Confidence is not something that people just magically have. I know Michelle will probably agree with me on this. Confidence is like a muscle that you really have to work on every single day. So just try to make that active choice to push yourself outside of your comfort zone. And after you fail, everything will feel like it's outside of your comfort zone, but it's just so worth it. For me, from what I've achieved in my life, I failed many, many times. Michelle, I'm sure, even though you're the CEO of this amazing organization, I'm sure you've had times where you failed. And I'm sure I speak for both of us. We would not be where we are without those failures and for what we learned from those failures. So just give yourself grace, get back up, and just keep learning, keep self improving. Thank you, Hina. All righty. Do we have another question? You can see the chat box is really scrolling. Thank you so much, guys. I so appreciate you guys sending in all of your messages and everything and all of your questions. And of course, such a pleasure to be joined by Michele from Dress for Success. And you guys can see the website has been pinned in the comment box as well if you want to learn more about the organization, if you'd like to donate. That would be really, really wonderful, because it just allows so many women around the world to have access to that community, to that support as they go after their dreams, or really just have that support that they really need to just be their best selves, to be their healthiest selves, to be their happiest selves. Do we have another question from our viewers at all? Let me see here in the chat box I have in front of me. How to deal with people that do not recognize the conformity of mental health issues? Or maybe I think this person is trying to say how to deal with people that do not recognize the importance of mental health issues. Michele, would you like to speak on this?
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody doesn't necessarily appreciate the gravity of the situation, but I would say this: if you do any research at all, just even a quick Google search on mental health in the wake of the pandemic, you alluded to this before, Kat, mental health and the crisis around mental health in this nation has been kind of, I think, aggravated or accelerated through the pandemic. You can't, I mean, you really can't ignore it these days. And like you said, I think it was 1 in 5 Americans and people around the world struggle with mental health issues at some point in their lives. It's real. And it absolutely is something we need to be mindful of. The pandemic, again, put a spotlight on it. And I think there are tons of resources out there that you can point someone to who doesn't appreciate that it is real and that it is an issue that we all have to care for.
Thank you so much for sharing, Michele. I definitely agree. People just need to realize that it is a real thing. And I think in many parts of the world, there still continues to be the conversation that is really doing a lot of work to demystify, to destigmatize mental health. From all of the labels that's been attached to it, from the unimportance it's been given in the past. And a lot of that is to do with the pandemic. I feel like there's been a huge emphasis and spotlight put on mental health, but I hope that there continues to be that evolving conversation around mental health, because it really does affect every single one of us in one way or another. So it's really our responsibility to educate ourselves about it, and hopefully speak that wisdom into other people and shed light onto them as well regarding mental health. But thank you so much for that question. A last question that I haven't seen here, but I think would be great for our viewers, Michele. Knowing that so many people are facing so many different things, and wherever they are in the world, is there a piece of encouragement that maybe someone has said to you in your journey, or maybe someone through Dress for Success has imparted on you that's really stuck with you that you would love to share with us?
Oh, wow. That's a great one. I think every morning when I wake up about what I'm grateful for, and I try to have gratitude in every day. There is nothing better than living in a space of gratitude. And this is someone told me over a year ago or so. I actually keep a gratitude journal. And every morning I log in my gratitude journal 3 things that I'm grateful for. Because what that does is it helps me focus not on the negative. It helps me focus not on the bad or the dark, but it helps me focus on the light and what's good. So when I do find myself in a place of worry or distress or concern, I always come back and ground myself in the morning to, but you know what? I have all of these great things to be grateful and thankful for. So I would say to anchor yourself in gratitude. That will help you navigate the ups and the downs of all of the things we're navigating in our daily lives.
That's so, so powerful. I am such a believer in also that gratitude is the greatest combat to negativity, because really, no matter your situation, there's always something to be grateful for. It could be as simple as a roof over your head, that your family is safe, that you're healthy, that you have air in your lungs, that you're able to go out and enjoy the sunshine. You know, simple things. Like you said, as soon as you shift your focus for the things to be grateful for, the more that you feed into those things, the more stronger they become. So that's our piece of encouragement. Thank you so much, Michele, for joining us, for imparting your wisdom, for your sharing about Dress for Success with our audience. Again, for those of you who are watching, the website's actually on the screen below, which is dressforsuccess.org. You could donate going to dressforsuccess.org/donate to really support this amazing cause that helps women all over the world. Michele, thank you so much for your
Thank you.
time.
Thank you,
Thank you
Kat.
so much for, sorry, go ahead.
I just wanted to say thank you for having me, and thank you for what you do to inspire so many women and girls around the world. Keep up the great work.
Thank you so much. And just I'm so thankful to be doing this, for allowing Chess's legacy to live on through the work that she really loved and was so passionate about. So thank you so much. Thank you to everyone who's watching us, who took a bit of time out of their day. And something that I would encourage everyone to do before they leave this live, head to the comment section and just share a testimony of your own. If you have one that you'd like and feel comfortable sharing, of maybe a challenge that you overcame, I would love for this comment section to be a resource for those who may be watching now or watching in the future to come, and maybe they're facing a struggle or a challenge, that they could come to the comment section and just see a testimony from someone who's overcome it before. And hopefully that would be a source of hope for them, that they are not alone in what they're going through and that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. But also, please, we encourage you to reach out to people around you, to help, therapy, medical professionals if needed. And if you're not personally being affected, please reach out to the people around you. You never know who could really appreciate just someone to be there, someone to be present, someone to listen, someone to be a friend. And thank you to everyone for your care and support during this time. This series of conversations for Universe United is a way for us to show up for you. And we hope that you'll join us again next week. We will be having Miss USA 2016, Deshauna Barber, and Big Brothers Big Sisters organization, another organization that was very close to our beloved Cheslie Kryst. So with that, I bid you all good night from the Philippines, good morning in the US, and have a wonderful day wherever you're watching from. God bless you all and stay safe always. Thank you, Michele, also.
Thanks, Kat. See ya.
Thank you.